No, endings aren't important. Don't believe me? By the end of this video, I will convince you. In the meantime, just sit back and watch some table tennis. Now, at this stage of the rally, you've already made your mind up if you're enjoying it or not, and there's no realistic ending that's going to change that. Well, it's exactly the same with stories. So stop stressing about writing the perfect ending. Like, if you're like me, every time you try and finish your book, you get caught up in this mentality of, my ending must be legendary. So you spend like 9 weeks straight just smoking meth, staying up, trying to solve your story into divine perfection, but you don't need to. Because endings don't actually matter. You're probably sitting there thinking, what the fuck is this dipshit on about? Of course endings are important. Like, are they though? Think of your favorite song. How does it end? You don't know, do you? You don't know. It's because you don't listen to the song for the ending. You listen for the experience of listening to that song. It's the same thing with stories. From a young age, the secret societies that rule the world have brainwashed us into believing that endings must be these clever, epic moments of brilliance. But all you really need to do in an ending is just cross the line. You know, land the plane, park the car. It doesn't need to be flashy. Now look at Lord of the Rings. That's a popular story that people say is good, but the ending is nothing special. It's predictable, cliche, it just does what it needs to do. You'll never hear someone say, oh bro, you've got to watch Lord of the Rings, the ending will fuck you up. Now look at Stephen King. He's an author who's literally known for writing bad endings. Yet he's sold 400 million books. 400 million. Maybe people don't care that the endings are bad. Now I could sit here all day and give example after example of good successful stories with bad endings, but I don't want to. What I do want to talk about is the very thing that inspired me to make this video. It's a phenomenon that I've noticed. Remember before when I was saying how an ending just needs to land the plane? Well, I found a loophole where that's not even the case. You can keep that bad boy up in the air and just end the story. Let's say you're writing a story about a guy who has to escape from an alien planet. He was abducted a year ago and taken to this planet to be experimented on and tortured, raped. I don't know if you're into that. I don't know, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is he has to escape, and that's what the story is all about. So imagine you've been writing all year, you've got more than enough for a full-length novel, and it's good stuff. But you can't figure out how to end it. Your character's still on the planet, and you can't come up with a good way to get him to escape. What do you do? Well, what happens if we just end it? Well, obviously you can't do that, because the story is about him escaping from the planet, and he hasn't escaped yet. Alright, fair enough. But how about we go to be continued? Well, that's all well and good, bro, but you still gotta write the ending and complete the series, right? I mean, you can't just get out of it. Like, weren't you saying before, you gotta, like, land the plane or some shit? Of course I intend to finish it. I'm just gonna end it like that. Of course. Right now, though, I am working on something else, but, yeah, and I'll get back to it. Look, I am not suggesting that you lie and claim your book as part of a series just to avoid writing the ending. It's a pretty funny idea, but it's not the point of this video. I just find it very interesting that on the topic of endings, that there are books, hugely successful books that I love, that you get to the ending, and the ending's basically just like, yeah, we'll end it in another book. Yeah, don't worry, we'll end it later. And it just works somehow. 15 years ago, I came across this book called Name of the Wind, was a brilliant book. I've read it like 4 times. I'd recommend it to anyone. It sets up all these juicy mysteries, like who are the Chandrian? Why did they kill Quoth's family? Will he end up finding them? Why is the current state of the world in decline? I remember reading the first book, being like, oh, I can't wait to see how this wraps up. Then I get to the ending, and it was just like, yeah, we've still got a bunch of unresolved mysteries, but all the characters went to bed for the night. The end. See you in book 2. And I was like, yeah, I didn't feel disappointed or anything. I was like, that was a fucking awesome book, and I can't wait for the next one. Sir Patrick Rothfuss wrote a book with no ending, and everyone loved it. He sold tens of millions of copies. So do you still think endings are important? And by the way, he never completed the series. And it's pretty common for these big series to go unfinished. It's basically like starting a story and never finishing it. And you might think, oh, well, that's just going to ruin the first part of that story, but it's just not the case. I remember as a kid reading the Game of Thrones book. Games of Thrones? Game of Thrones. I remember reading that tagline, like, winter is coming, and I was like, oh, winter is coming, I'm so excited. But I'm pretty sure now winter's just not coming. I think when George wrote those earlier books, he had no fucking idea what was going to happen when winter came. And the point is that he didn't need to know. He didn't need to stress about creating the perfect ending, staying up for 9 weeks straight, smoking meth, trying to like connect all these dots. It was just completely unnecessary. He just ended the books where they were with some vague promise about winter is coming. And all of those books are just brilliant. Now there is an art to this. A way to end an unfinished story in a way that feels conclusive and satisfying. It still makes you like yearn for the next part. But we'll get to that in the next video. Promise. So yeah, so just chill out, don't smoke meth. If people can write brilliant stories about endings, then you don't need to stress about yours.